Okay, today I am welcoming Sarah Hall, who is the Time Away VA. Hello, Sarah, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Amazing. So please tell us, who is the Time Away VA and what do you do?
Oh gosh. Where to start? So I'm Sarah. I am from Kentucky, still live here. I've got my hubby. We've been married 10 years this year. So
Yay,
we've got
claps all
two
around.
kiddos. Yes, thank you. We've got two kiddos and 7 and 8 year old. We just started homeschooling last year. So easing into that this year, we felt better, but still it's not graceful. It's chaotic, but it feels really good. So that's been nice. And I started my business, started as Sarah Hall Virtual in 2021. I left corporate. I was burned out. I didn't know anything about boundaries and that just worked constantly because that's all I learned was to grind. So I wanted something different. My kids were young. It was COVID. I was in the medical field and it was not great. So my husband supported me and I left and built this business that's still rolling. I've done my big pivot, as you know, you've been a big help with this year. So started as a virtual assistant, just taking on any general tasks, kind of leaning into the technical side, the system side, and tried OBM. And I just kind of stumbled into it and basically stumbled my whole way through it and didn't feel good about it.
You're like, I stumbled in and then I stumbled right back out.
Yeah. So just trying to figure out how to scale. And then you and I worked many months on my latest offer, which it started as maternity leave prep and now has kind of formed into a full take a break from your business prep. So it could be vacation, it could be a sabbatical, if you're a caregiver, and it could be maternity leave. So how can we plan for that and let you feel good about it, actually take that time and have coverage if you need it, and then ease back in. So it's actually something I feel good talking about, energized, and I haven't had that in a long time.
And so full disclosure. So Sarah has worked with me one-on-one in expansion of my program expansion. And yeah, this is the offer that we work together to create. And so a couple of things I want to point out is that one, not only do you have two kids, but you're homeschooling your kids as you run your business. So before we get into your offer, let's talk about that. Let's talk about how does this impact your business and what was it feeling like before in your original business when you were a regular VA doing all of the things with two kids you were homeschooling all last year?
Oh gosh. So I would say I am a very anxious person. That was seeping into every part of my life. Again, I just took what I was doing in corporate and just brought it home. And I was just home all the time. So again, I didn't learn boundaries in corporate. I didn't learn how to take time and really enjoy my family. So it was pretty awful. I was an awful person to be around.
Aw.
In corporate, but also like I said, I'm bringing it home. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's been the biggest thing is my mindset throughout these years. I've just, okay, I can work. I built this so that I could be around my kids more and have a flexible schedule. But I was so focused on oh, it's got to be 9 to 5 and this is my work time. So when they were still in, traditional school, I had that time. I didn't utilize it the best. But I still was just oh my God, I'm supposed to be doing something, just that anxiety. And
So
then,
feeling like you had to work all of the time.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, it's 3 p.m. I have to be working right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And 5 p.m. Okay, I can shut everything down and we go upstairs and I'm done. So that's been the biggest thing of really integrating my life with my work and showing the kids that I do enjoy it. And sure, there's hard days. I don't love everything. But really being able to be okay, I'm going to step away from this and I can go see my kids and we're here together during the day and it ebbs and flows a little bit better.
Good. Yeah.
And I'm a better person to be around too.
Very important. And I think that, not that I think that I remember that, this was one of the first things that we did together, right, was to work on optimizing your business. So at that time, and this is what I do with everybody, right? So at that time you had a couple of team members, you had a bunch of clients, and things were there were some bottlenecks, and you were involved being the bottleneck in some of these things.
Yeah.
And so some of the things, and why don't you explain? So some of the things we implemented right away, so that way you created more space for yourself. So you created a more organized structure, so that way you were able to step away more, not only to create this new offer, but also to spend time with your family.
Definitely looked at, again, my systems. You know, I can do systems with others all day.
Yeah.
My own, not so much.
You're like the shoemaker with the no shoes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I know we looked at my schedule, like, okay, how can we really utilize my time? Like, sure, I've got this big block of time, and I'm just kind of like, oh, I could do this. I could do this. But it's like, okay, this is going to be client content. This is Sarah Hall virtual content. So really, like, not minute by minute, but like, this is when we're going to work on your business, others. So that was a huge change. And also looking at my clients, the work I do I even enjoy what I do for them? Because I think at the time, 7 or 8 clients, and I was stretched thin.
Yeah.
And
And you weren't giving enough to your VA either. Yeah.
They were giving bare minimum, or I was giving them bare minimum, which isn't fair to them, because they can bring so much. So those were the 2 biggest things of really being like, oh, this can be handed off. How can I make this a system, record it, make an SOP, hand it off, and I've built a system, and handed it off, and it's beautiful. So that's been a big thing that really helped me with my time, my anxiety, with my before even doing any offers and big change on what I'm offering.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, and so let's talk about that. So what was it that was the impetus that made you say, like, hey, something needs to change? I kind of want to like see what this girl, me as in this girl, like has to say about this. What was the thing that sparked that?
I think, honestly, I found you on Instagram. I creeped on you for a while, and I felt connected to the messages you were saying of like, you shouldn't be just constantly in your business at all times. And that's how I felt. I was like, if I'm at my kids' soccer practice, I'm thinking about, oh, I need to be doing this or stuff like that. So I think there was a big connection point of, I see what you're saying. That's what I want. How do I get there? And I know I didn't feel like I was giving the best to my clients either, because I was spread so thin.
Yeah.
So again, what I was doing in corporate, I didn't feel like I was giving the best care because I was burnt out or on the verge of burnout. And like, I'm just kind of like trying to coast through, but constantly feeling guilty because things weren't getting done. They weren't getting done well. And I didn't feel like a leader to my team.
That's a big thing, right? Because you're like, oh, like I'm building that, like, because if you told somebody that, oh, I have 8 clients, I have a couple of team members, people would be like, oh, Sarah is kicking ass, right? Like she is killing it. But if you internally and even just logistically, that wasn't actually what was happening. So I think it's also important to note that when you see people that talk about these things, know that behind the scenes, and I'm not calling you out, right? This is like, I see this all the time. Like things behind the scenes are not always what they seem. So somebody could tell you, right? Like I'm making all this money, I have all these clients, but they're working 24/7 and it's completely unsustainable and they're miserable.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's not why we built our businesses. Like,
right. Because you could do that in corporate and not have to.
Absolutely. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So when you stumbled upon me or creeping on me on Instagram, was it like, oh, I want to build a new offer? Or was it more like, oh, this is my, like, oh, wait, yeah, I actually don't want to work this way. And, oh, that's kind of a cool, like, idea. I'm just that curious. What was it that, I don't know, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'll rave about you all day.
Okay. Let's just have a podcast where you just say nice things about me.
All right, I'm in. But I think it was like the feeling you were talking about of like, one, enjoying your business, not feeling like I am just in my business constantly. But I knew I wanted something different. And in this realm, it's always like, oh, you should be an OBM. This is how you scale, which is absolutely true. You can scale to it, but also like, it doesn't have to be that way. And thankfully I did try OBM and you helped me with that. And I just didn't connect with it.
Yeah.
And you were like, okay, so let's pivot. Like there's, it doesn't have to be one way, which is beautiful. And it's great to have that guidance and that like calm voice being like, that's fine. You don't have to do this one route, you know? So I think it was just the message you were conveying of like, hey, you should enjoy your life and not revolve around work all the time.
And still make money.
So simple. Exactly. It felt like it was possible too. Because of course my Instagram feed is full of people. Oh, I'm making this much money and that. And really in the time we were working together, I saw several people that had switched how their business was. And they were always the ones that were like, oh, I'm making this much money. And now they're back and they're like, so I was burnt out, and they just disappeared. And now they're coming back like, funny story. It didn't work out. And I'm like, that's fine. That's how we find out. So that, again, another mindset thing of like, you told me, just try it out. You don't know till you try. And that's, terrifying to do on your own. So it's nice to have a friend that's going to be like hard truths to you, but also like, this is a safe space to really try something.
Yeah. And, the OBM thing you were like, oh, like you were interested in it. That's kind of like, oh, I think this is the next level. You had a client who was asking you for it. So it wasn't, so it was kind of a natural thing, like no harm, no foul here. It was somebody you really enjoyed. It was already your client. So like, let's give it a try as we were building this core offer. Right. So, and I think that was amazing because then you would have always questioned like, oh, what if OBM was my road? Right. And there's absolutely no shame in saying like, this is not for me.
Yeah. And actually that client who is an amazing human, we don't work together anymore. I was like, and that was a hard truth. And that like really made me make this pivot. And like, I cried about it and it was hard. Again, you helped me through it. And that was the like, okay, that is the universe being like, really, Sarah, this is not it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like how many times do I have to tell you?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's dive into your offer. So when this started, and the thing that I really loved was that we had examined, and again, the process is we examined what you want your dream life to look like, right? And we examined what your unique magic is, which is what you're amazing at, what you love doing. And so with those exercises, what came up for you?
I think stuff that, of course, I already knew but never accepted or never saw as like a actual useful to business.
Yeah.
Connection to people and just being a like support to people. And this offers, and of course, how it evolved. I've done this for my clients so many times. And that's what you tell me too. It may not specifically be a maternity leave, but I've had my own. I've helped people through breaks in their business. So it's like, it's there. But for me to see it I was just blinded to it. It was that like limiting beliefs and all that. And it was so hard. I don't know how many times I cried to you.
Okay, but let me say this. I'm going to now say all the nice things about you. You are so self-aware and so vulnerable. So vulnerable. And like, okay, I'm having this meltdown. This is happening. And then it's like, okay, what are we going to do to get through it? I'm going to do this, this, and this. And then you went and did this, this, and this and got to the other side. Like,
well, thank you.
Time and time again. So like, you know how to get yourself through, right, to the other side. And I'm just there to be the support saying, no, you can do this, right? And like,
and a soft little nudge too, because you would have those messages that you're like, hey, girl, what you doing? And I'm like, oh, okay. Hey, just a gentle check-in.
Yes. Very important to have the accountability for sure. For sure. So, no, but it's so interesting because this happens all the time as well, right? Because we don't recognize our own genius ever. And like, it's for me, something that I remember when I was working in clinical trials research, I don't remember what I was doing. I don't even remember what it was, but something I was doing, I thought was so natural and that everybody could just do that. And then I was training people. I was like, oh, you're having trouble here. And I think it's the easiest thing in the world. And so, right, like that's something that was a light bulb for me because it was like, oh, because we don't appreciate our own genius most of the time. Somebody else has to appreciate it for us to even see that.
No, you're right. Because even my previous, corporate jobs, I see so much of what I did then of what I do now. And like, it doesn't seem like it correlates at all. I was an athletic trainer. I worked in sports or medical supplies. And it's like, what? But I was a liaison. I was supporting people. I was bringing the teams together to make the plan work. And it's like, duh, Sarah, you gravitate towards this, and like you said, I never saw that as a skill. It seems so natural.
Yeah. And that's where your genius lies. That's where your unique magic lies, in the thing that is so natural. So And it's like the best feeling. And before we recorded, you're like, oh my God, it's so easy now when I talk about what I do versus before where it was really difficult. And that to me is the highest compliment, right? And that's because you're so passionate about it. And because you're like, oh, this is a thing that I love, that it just comes so easy.
Yeah. And there's that emotional tie to it as well. Because as you know, I am an emotional person and I have really taken that on as I get older. I don't try to hide it. It's there.
It's your superpower. Yes.
Yes. I will cry on a dime if I have to and give a hug to those that are. But now I forgot where I was going with that. It's fine. Forgot that thought.
Well, how you were passionate about it.
Yes. I never felt the connection when I was, as a virtual assistant. I'm helping you with systems and organize everything, which I like to organize and everything. But I was like, it feels too cliche, or to connect well to me. And now I'm like, let's take a break. How can I help you with that? It's systems, it's stuff like that. And I can talk all day about taking a break and keeping away from burnout. So you're right. That's huge.
And the cool thing too is, so when we first started this, it was a maternity leave. And because you're a mom, because you went through this, because you've helped your clients go through this, that really resonated with you. Right. And so how did you go from the evolution of maternity leave specifically to breaks in general?
Funny enough, I have a friend who she's kind of helping me brainstorm it out now to make it make sense in my brain. But friend, she lived here locally. She's moved since then. But I used to work with her as a VA for a long time. And she had mentioned we had a little group that would get together. And she goes, oh, you should look into like doing this, because she was the first person I helped support through a vacation. And she said that was the first time I trusted anybody to take over my business, look into my inbox, and actually take a break. And we had a plan, and we had a way to like ease her in, and it felt good on both sides. And I feel like obviously it went really well, because then she continued to have more and feel like she could step away. So like that had already been talked about before. And I know the maternity leave felt so, because moms, we need so much support. We don't have a ton of support, parents in general, but especially moms and business owners. So I felt very passionate about that, but I felt like I was kind of missing something. And I also felt a lot of, and you know this, the limiting beliefs of, well, I don't really know. I didn't have a maternity leave as an entrepreneur. I had it in corporate.
Yeah.
So I kept just having these thoughts. And then it just like clicked one day that, and Jamie had mentioned it too. She said, well, what about, you've helped all your clients take a break. And I was like, I guess it is all the same. And I had mentioned it to you, and you were like, yes, that just clicks. Like, it seems so obvious to everybody else. They were like, oh, yeah, Sarah, this is it. And I was like, huge light bulb. Like, I didn't even make that connection that I've done it for everybody, every client. And yeah, like you said, the maternity leave is a much bigger scale. I think that's why I was intimidated by it. And I'm so glad we worked specifically on that one, because now everything in that translates to a break.
Yep.
A little easier to take a break than a maternity leave. So it's amazing how everything has translated that you and I worked with, my dream life, into this offer has just really taken off this year. And that's huge. It's been hard, but it just made sense. Like time away VA came to me as I was just laying in bed.
I love those moments when you're like, yes. And you're like, wait, yes.
Yeah. And I had never had that. And I've been in business for over 4 years now, and I've never had that moment. And I was like, ooh, that was a good sign that I was like, okay, I'm on the path to something bigger. And I wouldn't have had that if you and I hadn't cleared space on my calendar, readjusted my mindset, and got me there. So it's amazing all the pieces that have fallen together to really feel good.
I love it. Okay, let's talk about mindset. Wait, I'm like wheezing. Let's talk about mindset. I'm wheezing for all the excitement. So you keep mentioning, the mindset. What are some specific things that you felt like were holding you back, one, and then two, how did we move through them?
I was so focused, weirdly enough, on like my title, because that is such a thing in corporate. Of like, this is your title. This is how you deserve, quote unquote, the money you're getting, blah, blah, blah. So I didn't feel like it was enough. I was so focused on, oh, well, virtual assistant doesn't hold as much weight as an OBM. I think that's why I was so torn between that two.
Yeah.
So a lot of it was that, and like, okay, just release that. You can call yourself whatever you want. Where time away the inking. So sweet. Okay, we did it. But it was a lot of, well, I just didn't feel like I had enough experience. And I was terrified to try new things because I've got a family. We need to have that steady income. Right. So I was like, well, I can't make any big changes. But that's all this last year has been. My husband was in school. We got him through that. I was doing this big offer and changing my clients, and it happened. I'm on the other side of it. But I am never one to step outside. I was never one to step outside my comfort zone because it's terrifying and makes me want to vomit. So a lot of that was I didn't feel experienced enough. I was scared to try something new because I'm like, oh, well, this is comfortable. I know what this looks like.
Even though it's not great and you weren't a good, in your own words, right? You were a miserable, terrible person. You still like, no, let's stay here because this is familiar and I understand this. Yeah.
Yeah. I was still fighting, much like homeschool. I was trying to where you have to kind of de-school yourself on what school looks like. I was like, I was still working towards what work looks like, what my business works like. So I feel like I'm finally shedding some of those old limiting beliefs of this is what work is. This is what success is.
Yeah.
I keep throwing these quotes. Yeah. And
but how did you shed these beliefs?
Oh, gosh, a lot of tears. We talk through it a lot. And just getting it outside of my body. So I have meditated a lot and just taken moments to slow down. That's been the biggest thing of especially when I'm feeling that anxiety building up in my body and I'm like, oh, I got to be doing this. And I'm like, just take a moment, get some sunshine and take a walk. But it's just been, it is constant and it is exhausting to work through the mindset stuff. And it's, and I said, it's never going to go away.
Right.
But I have found what has worked for me at this moment of slowing down, taking a breath and realizing daily, I'm nothing is an emergency here. Nothing I'm doing is life or death. And I'm just take a breath. You can do that later.
Do you know what I recommend? I recommend everybody to be a nurse or a doctor or something like this because I was. And so now in this world, it really helps to really solidify and really concrete in your brain, nobody is dying here. I know what an emergency actually looks like and none of this is all fake emergencies. This is
exactly.
So it's okay. And it's so funny because when I was full on OBM, BA, whatever, my clients always would tell me how grounding I am. And I'd always think oh, well, that's because I know this is all fake. It's important, yes, but nobody is dying. So just step by step, we're okay.
Yeah, because I'll get a message or an email from a client and that anxiety will build up and I'm like, wait a second.
Yes.
Just take a breath.
Yes.
Everything's fine. Yeah, no, I'm with you because athletic training, there could be a kid down on the ground. That's life or death.
Right.
This is not it.
Right.
It. So,
no, but
you're right.
We're joking, but in all seriousness, it's a really important thing to remember. Obviously we want to do good work and serve clients and all of those things, but nobody is dying. So
moral of the day.
Right? If you've learned nothing else from this conversation, nobody dies in the world of online business. We're okay.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
So take a breath. Everything is good.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay. So we talked about mindset. We talked about creating your offer. You were talking about how your life looks so different now. And I'm curious what that means. Actually, what does that mean for you today? Because in all transparency, you have launched your offer, but you haven't necessarily gone all in hardcore, let's go, we're doing this thing, right? You've created it and you've launched it and you're easing your way into it. So with all of that, what does your life look like now that is so different from before we worked together?
Less chaotic. I tried so much to block schedule my whole day. That was more anxiety than anything. That's what I kept hearing, oh, block schedule your day or this day specifically. And I'm but every day is so different. especially with homeschooling. But even it's another stress to have kids in school. So it's been one to really, like, I'll look at my week and see what is like, okay, this is a definite, kids are here. This is where I need to have my time. So it's, again, us working through to get me that space to like, okay, this is what work looks like. This is what my schedule looks like, but it's very flexible, minus meetings, but I don't have it. But
we also solidified they'll condense the days for those too.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So,
Yes.
So I think I am less anxious. I've learned to start my morning off slow, like I said, very short meditation, sip my coffee before sitting down at my desk, and then I can finish it. But just really, again, taking that time for myself, which I never learned how to do, again, in corporate. That's not how they teach you. They're like, you should be grinding at all times. So I would say it's definitely more relaxed. I'm able to be in the moment, which has been a huge step. No matter what it is, whether it's like a wonderful conversation like this, I'm not thinking about other things because I know, okay, I've got the time for that. And I know when we stopped kind of working with maternity leave, I had started to put it out there, and then the shift happened, and I was like, oh gosh, no, so I am definitely in that weird limbo of like trying to figure out how I'm gonna kind of put it out there, because I feel like my audience has been very confused on what I'm doing with my life. Hey, me too.
Okay, but so let's break this down for a second. We'll do a little coaching on this call. Is that you've done this once already. So you have all the resources to go back and apply the same things to this iteration of that offer, which is amazing, right? And then two, I don't care. Like so let's reframe that my audience is confused. Like, well, they're watching your journey and you get to frame what your journey is. So it's not I don't know what I'm doing, right? It's guess what? Like I have this offer and now I'm making it even better so more of you can have, or like this feels so amazing. I've done so much of this, and like take them on that journey along with you, but frame it in a positive way because it is positive, right? So it's not like I don't know what I'm doing and I'm changing my mind all this time. It's like, no, I'm growing and evolving, and I'm so excited that I started here because what? Now it's going here. And like, let me tell you all about it because I'm so excited about it. And then they're cheering you on. Yeah, as opposed to being confused, right?
Right. And I think, too, that's been a big thing, and I've learned from you as well, of like, just take them on the journey. I don't need it to be packaged nicely and just suddenly put out, but it's like you said, you've been on this journey. It's not like I have a huge audience, but the audience I do have, they engage. So it's like, oh, well, this is cool, Sarah. Like, even when I put it out there just about the maternity prep, they're like, oh, this is needed. We need this. And it's like,
I love that.
Yeah, so it's like it's not that far-fetched to be like, oh, time away VA. And like you said, I love sharing my story. And I think a lot of moms, business owners, women alone, like can relate to it. We've all had these emotions and these feelings. And and I think it's fun to be on that side.
Yeah, and you don't only have to be on the verge of having a baby to take time away, right? Which is like, you could say that,
Yeah.
Like you deserve it at whenever you need it.
Yeah. And I feel like, especially it's like COVID and all that, like there has been this huge shift in just the workforce and just everything, whether you're in office, whatever your journey looks like, we all deserve that break. And we all know that. And, I want to share that more because it's possible, and it doesn't always feel possible. So,
yeah.
I know that's frustrating too, to be like, but I can't. No, you can. You deserve it.
100%. Okay. And so last things, what would you say was your biggest takeaway, if you were to name one, from working in expansion, from working in one-on-one?
We worked on that for so long because again, like you said, like you took me on a journey of like, you could probably remember where my brain was at the beginning versus, which was all over the place and stressed, and to get me to the end and be like, oh, this feels good. Like just to say this feels good, and to go into networking or just talking to a friend about what is it you do. Let me tell you, like I feel confident in talking about it and approaching my limiting beliefs and like these things that'll just get you down, because no matter how confident I feel, there's at least once a month I want to burn my business down. And it's like, okay, we know this feeling, we've had it before, why is it? Let's just look at it, feel it, and then we move on. I know I'll get to the other side of it. I never am going to burn my business down. But I know that feeling's going to come up, like in probably another week. I'll be.
Yep.
So that's been my biggest thing. And just having, again, that support and that someone to talk through it instead of just in my head. Because even writing it out sometimes doesn't do the trick.
Yeah. And the growth and the confidence, tenfold increase in just a few months. Like
yeah, and I can feel it.
Yeah. Like you have stepped into the leadership role you are the CEO of your business now.
Yeah, and I never felt that way. Like even to my team or to myself, or even to come onto a podcast, be like, oh, I just kind of do some things. I'm a VA. Like I would put that, oh, I'm just a VA, or I'm just, like, no, I really offer good things to people, and they can use them or they don't, and that's okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. And so people who want to connect with you and learn more about your offer or ask you questions, where can they do that?
The easiest would probably be Instagram. Definitely message me. It's at time away VA. So I just changed it. I changed it. I know. I've done the things. I've started to work on domains, all that. So, time away VA is my Instagram handle. And then my email is still Sarah, SARA, at sarahhallvirtual.com. So feel free to email me any questions. I love connecting with other amazing business owners.
Awesome. So, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your journey. And I know this was so inspirational to everybody listening.
Well, thank you so much.